Chapter 1501, Quasi-Great Grandmaster. Chapter 1501, Quasi-Great Grandmaster. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Western Desert, Thieving Heaven's Dream Realm. Young Thieving Heaven stepped on the stage once more. His appearance startled the surrounding clansmen. What is the meaning of this? Why is this despicable kid covered in bandages? It seems like he suffered a heavy injury. Nothing could be done about it, although young Thieving Heaven refined sneak attack Gu with Fang Yuan's help. His injuries from the Gu refinement process had not been healed. So even if young Thieving Heaven continued to participate in the competition, he was heavily injured. Young Thieving Heaven bitterly laughed inwardly. In fact, he did not want to continue to take part in the competition, but Xianxia forced him to continue. With no other way, young Thieving Heaven could only enter the battle. And his opponent this time was a clan elder's grandson. When he saw young Thieving Heaven's heavily injured appearance, he instead retreated several steps, looking at young Thieving Heaven with extreme cautiousness. "What scheme are you plotting?" The elder's grandson shouted. "You think by disguising as heavily injured, I will be tricked by you? You are underestimating me too much." "That's right. You need to be careful when dealing with him, don't be deceived. This method of appearing weak is too childish. But looking at his age, it can be understood. This kid is ignorant, he doesn't have much strength at all, completely relying on tricks to enter the top 8. The surrounding crowd erupted in discussion. Young Thieving Heaven rolled his eyes, speechless. The Gu master presiding over this match was also speechless. He had investigated Gu and had already ascertained that the heavy injuries on young Thieving Heaven were real. But Fang Yuan's fraudulent performances before had left such a deep impression on others that even though young Thieving Heaven was injured currently, they did not dare to believe it. Young Thieving Heaven's opponent even retreated several steps, appearing extremely cautious. Since it is so. Young Thieving Heaven smiled bitterly, the corners of his lips suddenly rose as his gaze and expression changed a little. Fang Yuan had once again gained control over young Thieving Heaven's body. "Come, let me test sneak attack Gu in a real fight." Fang Yuan willed and activated this rank 2 Gu worm. A blue baby phantom jumped out of young Thieving Heaven's aperture. "What the?" The elder's grandson gave a startled cry. He was not able to react in time and the blue baby phantom pounced at his body. Thankfully, I played safe and had immediately activated my defensive Gu worm earlier, not giving any chance to my opponent. The blue baby phantom's speed was extremely fast, the elder's grandson could only squeeze out 2 words while his mind was filled with thoughts. But this thought was the final thought before he fainted. Guh. At the next moment, the elder's grandson coughed out blood, and his eyes opened wide with an incredulous look. Then, he fell down to the ground, immediately losing his consciousness. Fang Yuan won. Silence fell among the crowd. Almost everyone's eyes were opened wide as they saw a blue baby figure drill in and out of the elder's grandson's body, which then jumped up and down before entering back into young Thieving Heaven's aperture. Despicable. He used a dirty trick again. What did he use? The speed was too fast, I actually could not see it clearly. It seems to be a rank 2 Gu worm. What exactly was that? I only saw a blue baby phantom. My intuition tells me this blue baby phantom is not simple. This time, not only the observing mortals, even those rank 2 Gu masters were visibly moved. Sneak attack Gu's first appearance had shocked everyone. In the following matches, young Thieving Heaven repeatedly used sneak attack Gu. His battles were clean and quick, they could be summarized in a few steps: step on the stage, activate sneak attack Gu, opponent faints, and victory comes. Young Thieving Heaven's dominance was so big that he suppressed all the competitors instantly. The crowd was overwhelmed. There was no unexpected mishap, young Thieving Heaven smoothly grasped first place. This result raised many eyebrows. He was actually concealing this trump card. This kid was actually pretending to be weak, he is too crafty and sinister. Yes, he clearly has such strength, but actually resorted to such tricks. But this also shows his true nature. Young Thieving Heaven was first place in the competition, but the clansmen were dissatisfied. With Fong Yuan causing disaster from the start, Young Thieving Heaven had lost everyone's favor. Ordinary people pointed at Young Thieving Heaven and whispered to each other, but the clan's higher-ups had their attention on Sneak Attack Gu. This Gu is so powerful, what is its origin? That kid is a commoner, a penniless brat, how could he get such a top-tier Gu worm? I have investigated it, he has been living in the clan since his birth. But earlier this year, he was exiled, and this Gu worm was very likely obtained by him during the exile. You are saying this kid has inherited some senior's inheritance? Yes, that is very likely to be true. This brat doesn't matter, the crucial thing is that this rank 2 Gu worm is really powerful. You have already seen its remarkable offensive power. It can be activated by a rank 1 Gu master, which means its primeval essence consumption is small. This is a top-tier Gu worm. As long as our clan can arm ourselves with this Gu worm on a large scale, our strength will definitely soar. At that time, we can definitely expand our operations and seize larger oases. The clan leader excitedly spoke, a fire of ambition flickering in his eyes. Sneak Attack Gu was a rank 2 Gu. After its might was displayed, it immediately attracted the covetous gaze of the clan's higher-ups. This was already expected by Fong Yuan. With him controlling Young Thieving Heaven, he could naturally avoid using Sneak Attack Gu in the competition, but he took the initiative to use it, and openly at that. He had his own plan for this. I want to see what this dream realm will look like because of my decisions. Sneak Attack Gu has been exposed and attracted the clan's covetous gaze. The higher-ups will definitely want to mass-produce this Gu and arm the clan's Gu masters. Sneak Attack Gu was a rank 2 Gu, this rank was just perfect. A rank 1 Gu was too low, it had weak strength and there was no meaning in using them on a large scale. Rank 3 was too high, they were too valuable and were difficult to mass-produce, also there were few rank 3 Gu masters in the clan. Only rank 2, which was in the middle, was suitable to mass-produce and suitable to equip the clan's Gu masters. The clan's higher-ups could not help being moved. So they want the Gu recipe more than the Gu worm. After all, there is only one Sneak Attack Gu, they can only mass-produce it by obtaining the Gu recipe. The clan's higher-ups want to get the Gu recipe, so they will most likely try to appease Young Thieving Heaven and try to recruit him, they will not try to obtain it by force or pressure. This was a simple logic. If pressured, it might instead lead to Young Thieving Heaven rebounding and resisting. If he died and did not hand over the recipe, the clan's plans would all be in vain. If he had grievance, he could hand over an incomplete or a tampered Gu recipe, the clan would then suffer huge losses. So the best situation was for Young Thieving Heaven to willingly and voluntarily hand over the Gu recipe. Just like Fong Yuan expected, as the Dream Realm continued, the clan's higher-up forces extended offers to Young Thieving Heaven. They were either trying to invite him to visit their homes, or offer money and goods to get closer to him. Furthermore, some even wanted to marry their daughter to Young Thieving Heaven. Young Thieving Heaven instantly became popular like a hot product. My good grandson, you have made it. You won't be able to hold on to this Sneak Attack Gu recipe, but you can use this to exchange for a large amount of benefits. Use it properly and you can even squeeze into the clan's higher-up circle. He. Sha Zhao's voice echoed. Young Thieving Heaven, however, was dead set on not handing over the Gu recipe. If I hand over the Gu recipe, a lot of babies will be implicated. Although Young Thieving Heaven was upright and honest, he had his bottom line, he was an otherworldly demon. He had previous life's experiences and knew that behind the strength of an organization, there was often darkness and dirtiness. Then you can delay it for a while, after a few days, you will be going to the pool to select the reward of the competition winner. Don't forget Grandpa's instructions. Sha Xiao contained his laughter, his voice turning cold and detached. Don't worry, I won't forget. Young Thieving Heaven promised. After 3 days in the dream, he along with 7 others were led by clan elders across the blockade and to the pool. This was the most important resource area of the clan. There was also a natural spirit spring in the pool which produced primeval stones, and was the basis for survival of the clan. Young Thieving Heaven's clan had not only planted a lot of Gu materials around the pool, they had also excavated underground caverns where they stored large amount of Gu worms. Because young Thieving Heaven was the winner, he was brought to an underground cavern to choose a high-quality Gu worm from inside. He had just stepped inside when Sha Zhao's excited voice was heard, "It's here, it's here. I sense a dense immortal Gu aura." "What immortal Gu?" young Thieving Heaven asked. Fang Yuan also had doubts, and was also somewhat shocked that the inheritance here actually involved Gu immortals. But right at this time, Fang Yuan's sight suddenly turned dark. His soul was once again being rapidly corroded by the dream realm. After waiting for a seemingly endless time, Fang Yuan's soul had unknowingly left the dream realm. "Why am I out?" Fang Yuan felt a trace of surprise. "This means I have passed the second stage." Fang Yuan immediately came to a realization when he thought of this. Quasi-Great Grandmaster. My theft path attainment has actually soared to just a step before Great Grandmaster level. Fang Yuan's soul entered his physical body, he opened his eyes, which shined brightly with surprise and joy. Quasi-Great Grandmaster realm. This was a new personal record for Fang Yuan. Among Fang Yuan's various paths, some were at Grandmaster realm. Even in his first life of 500 years, he had not achieved such an accomplishment in a path. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1502, Lacking Souls. Chapter 1502, Lacking Souls. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Western Desert, inside Tang Clan's immortal formation. Fang Yuan was sitting cross-legged with closed eyes. He was inspecting his soul. His 10 million man soul foundation level had now already fallen to million man soul, moreover, it was just a little over 1 million. When I passed the first stage, my soul foundation was over 9 million man soul. But after passing the second stage, I actually only have just over 1 million man soul, almost falling down to 100,000 man soul range. Fang Yuan inwardly compared the differences between the two. The second stage was longer than the first stage, and the soul corrosion rate was also much more severe. An ordinary Gu immortal with even a little less soul foundation would have no way to endure such a corrosion. Not to mention a whole stage, they would not even be able to pass half a stage of the dream realm. This made it clear that the difficulty of this dream realm of Thieving Heaven was too high. No wonder Tang Clan and Tang Fong Ming's many years of effort was like a newborn baby trying to gnaw on an iron-hard boulder. Tang Fong Ming was still able to create so many dream path mortal Gu. This person indeed has quite remarkable talents and aptitude. Fang Yuan thought of his first life of 500 years, Tang Fong Ming had created a dream path immortal killer move, Steel Dream. Previously, Fang Yuan had thought this was because of Shadow Sect's help, but now that he had explored 2 stages of Thieving Heaven's dream realm, he felt Steel Dream was more likely to have been created by Tang Fong Ming himself. The first stage of Thieving Heaven's dream realm had increased Fang Yuan's theft path to Grandmaster level, while the second stage had raised it to Quasi-Great Grandmaster. I am just a step away from genuine Great Grandmaster level. Fang Yuan quietly comprehended and sensed that beautiful prospect that was close at hand. If I successfully pass one more stage of Thieving Heaven's dream realm, I definitely can reach Great Grandmaster attainment. Even Fang Yuan, with his extraordinary calmness, felt traces of fiery anticipation. There was a huge difference between Grandmaster and Great Grandmaster. Grandmaster level could understand about yin-yang in heaven and earth, they could learn about the profoundness of the universe, surpassing the mortal realm and become immortals among immortals, sages among sages. At Grandmaster level, a Gu immortal could use their path to imitate the specialties of other paths. For instance, in He Fan's True Inheritance, 100 Years Harmony, a time path killer move, had the effect of information path. As for Great Grandmaster attainment, it meant that the Gu immortals' understanding of a path was very close to being complete, their knowledge of the path had already reached the limits of the world. They could be considered to be approaching on digging out all the profundities of their path. The dead blazing heaven Demonis was a fire path Great Grandmaster. The present day's rank 8 Gu immortal old ancestor Shui who was a snow path Great Grandmaster. At this level, Blazing Heaven Demoness had an extreme sensitivity towards Fire Path Dao marks. Previously, she had added a trace of Fire Path Dao mark in every Fire Path immortal material and plotted against Fang Yuan. Old ancestor Shui who could casually disassemble all kinds of immortal killer moves. Previously, in the Battle of Reverse Flow River, he had nimbly disassembled his trump card battlefield killer move to deal with Heavenly Court and other enemies, even gaining the upper hand. And a Formation Path Great Grandmaster could directly use the natural Dao marks in the world to set up formations. They often needed only some Mortal Gu to set up Immortal Gu formations in some specific areas. As for above Great Grandmaster attainment, there was Supreme Grandmaster. Great Grandmaster was a level where the profundities of the path were being dug out. If Fang Yuan became a Theft Path Great Grandmaster, he would understand the profundities of Theft Path that existed in the world, and there would be almost nothing about Theft Path that he could not comprehend. That was to say, Great Grandmaster was a level where one deciphered just about everything about a certain path. Supreme Grandmaster was to innovate beyond that, to obtain mysteries of the path that did not even exist in the world, to be one step ahead of heaven and earth. Normally, Grandmaster attainment required hundreds of years of accumulation. In Fang Yuan's first life, he had attained Grandmaster in Blood Path. Great Grandmaster often required 1,000 to several thousands of years. A number of rank 8 Gu immortals possessed this level of attainment. As for Supreme Grandmaster, that was not just a matter of simply accumulation, but concerned talents and natural aptitude as well. Without having awe-inspiring talent and natural aptitude, even if the Gu immortal lived for 10,000 years, they would not be able to reach Supreme Grandmaster attainment. Therefore, Supreme Grandmasters were extremely rare since ancient times. The 10 Venerables were all Supreme Grandmasters. There were also some legendary characters, like the 3 Refinement Path Supreme Grandmasters, Long Hair Ancestor, Old Eccentric Tian Nan and Old Immortal Kong Ju. Grandmaster and Great Grandmaster attainment level can be achieved through Dream Realms. But Supreme Grandmaster cannot be obtained with Dream Realms. Fang Yuan realized this. This was obvious. Supreme Grandmasters needed to pioneer in creating something from nothing, while Dream Realms were legacies left by predecessors. So the highest attainment level that could be reached through Dream Realms was Great Grandmaster. Once I attain Great Grandmaster level in Theft Path, even if there are still more stages in Thieving Heaven's Dream Realm, I won't be able to increase my Theft Path attainment level through them. This was also the foundation for collaboration between Fang Yuan and Tang Clan. Thieving Heaven's Dream Realm was too large. Fang Yuan's stomach had a limit. Once he was full, there would still be a large portion left for Tang Clan. Tang Clan had only been willing to collaborate with Fang Yuan after he made this reason clear. If Thieving Heaven's Dream Realm was small enough for Fang Yuan to devour alone, how could Tang Clan collaborate with Fang Yuan? In the coming days, Fang Yuan prepared for his third exploration of Thieving Heaven's Dream Realm. He was mainly cultivating his soul. But in his spare time, Fang Yuan taught the secrets of Dream Path to Tang Fangming. Tang Fangming benefited a lot. Despite Fang Yuan only imparting some superficial Dream Path knowledge, as far as Tang Fangming was concerned, what he lacked was this lighthouse to guide him. The first step was always the most difficult. The creation of any path was the most difficult at the beginning. Once the first step was taken, the following steps could be taken rapidly. For Fang Yuan, guiding Tang Fangming, besides fulfilling the agreement to make it convenient for him to continue exploring the Dream Realm, was to make arrangements for the future. He was imitating Spectral Soul's strategy of fostering forces in 4 regions, to surround Central Continent and go against Heavenly Court. Time flew by, over 20 days passed just like this. Fang Yuan's Soul Foundation had once again reached 10 million man soul level. The third stage of Thieving Heaven's Dream Realm is sure to be even more difficult. 10 million man soul level might not be safe enough. After Fang Yuan pondered, he decided to continue cultivating his soul to break through to 100 million man soul. If his soul foundation was not sufficient and the soul was corroded completely in the Dream Realm, it would be akin to death. Even if there was still a physical body left, he would be just like a vegetable without a soul. Maybe I can deduce a Dream Path killer move to reduce the corrosion of the soul in the Dream Realm. This idea only flashed past Fang Yuan's mind before he quickly denied it. Fang Yuan's dream path attainment level was only ordinary, not even at quasi-master. Creating a dream path immortal killer move? Forget about it. As such, there was only one path in front of Fang Yuan currently, to raise his soul foundation to 100 million man soul. But this plan soon met an obstacle. He was lacking Daoist Gu. Fang Yuan had put Dang Hun Mountain in Xianxia blessed land. Xianxia land's spirit personally took charge of using this secluded domain of heaven and earth to produce Daoist Gu. But, Daoist Gu did not appear out of thin air, it required souls. The higher the quality and the quantity of the souls, the more Daoist Gu that Dang Hun Mountain could produce. The problem appeared in this aspect. Fang Yuan required a huge amount of Daoist Gu. Xianxia land spirit, however, did not have enough souls to produce them. Previously, Fang Yuan had ordered Shadow Sect members and others to explore Tai Chiu and kill desolate beasts and ancient desolate beasts, so Daoist Gu could be repeatedly produced on a large scale. But now, Shadow Sect's members were with Fang Yuan, and the souls stored in Xianxia sect had been completely used up these last few days. Fang Yuan thought over it. Right now, it was better for him to get materials from nearby than return to kill Tai Chiu's desolate beasts. Western Desert was similar to Northern Plains in that it was similarly incomparably vast. Western Desert had a place that was rather special and suited Fang Yuan. Yuchan is dead, my dragonfish business is already dominating the whole of Treasure Yellow Heavens market. For the next few years, there should be no one that can compete with me. Fang Yuan intended to use these profits to manage his immortal aperture and not to purchase souls. It was a loss to use them to purchase souls. Fang Yuan recalled a famous saying, one's own hands can produce ample food and clothing. Thereupon, Fang Yuan briefly informed Tang Fang Ming of the situation. Then, he left the immortal formation with the Shadow Sect members, towards that special desert. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1503, Soul Beast Army. Chapter 1503, Soul Beast Army. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Fang Yuan controlled the auspicious cloud to move through the sky. His speed was not fast, but his surroundings were permeating with dense immortal Gu aura. The auspicious cloud below him was not ordinary. It originated from a luck path true inheritance in Hei Fan Grotto Heaven. After Fang Yuan's modifications, its effect had improved sharply. The auspicious cloud did not follow Fang Yuan's will, but moved according to the profundity of luck path. Even Fang Yuan did not know when this auspicious cloud would change direction or where it was moving to, but Fang Yuan was clear that this spontaneous auspicious cloud killer move flew along the path of highest luck. After leaving Tang Clan, Fang Yuan had spent several days to come here. This was Green Ghost Desert, a famous danger region of Western Desert. For the last 100,000 years, there were many Western Desert Gu immortals who died here. Green Ghost Desert sky was covered with dense dark clouds all year round, with barely any sunlight. It was dark and gloomy. The ground was covered with large amount of vegetation. Ghost-crying trees were the largest in number. This tree was not tall and had twisted branches that looked like they were demons and monsters brandishing their claws. Every time the gloomy wind blew on the tree, it would shake slightly and emit a shrill scream or a terrifying cry. Moan moan moan. The ghost-crying tree wailed mournfully. A soul beast quietly moved out and approached Fang Yuan from behind while slowly raising its two sickle arms. The front half of this soul beast resembled a cockroach with long sharp pincers, while its back half had a long tail like a python. Fang Yuan seemingly failed to sense it. The soul beast's two sickle arms were raised up to its limit. It then rushed out towards Fang Yuan's back and slashed down its sickle arms. Victory or defeat was already determined at that instant. The soul beast's body stiffened in the air and fell down headfirst to the ground. But Fang Yuan acted in time, softly waving his sleeve which sent out a formless force that wrapped around this desolate beast-level soul beast's corpse, and brought it before him. The soul beast's corpse turned into whiffs of dark gray smoke and was constantly dissipating with the wind. Fang Yuan was unable to stop it, and after a while, only a glass-like soul core remained in his hand. The soul core was heavy and was dark blue to the point of appearing black. As Fang Yuan held it, it was like holding a completely filled wine vat. This was a rank 6 immortal material. It was the essence of the soul beast. Just like a mud monster only left behind its mud core after its death, soul beasts also had soul cores. Soul beasts, mud monsters, blood beasts, shadow monsters and phantom beasts were all path beasts. Their whole bodies contained plentiful and dense amounts of Dao marks of their specific paths. Fang Yuan inspected and confirmed that there was nothing wrong with the soul core, before throwing it inside his sovereign immortal aperture. Inside his immortal aperture, there was already a small basin of soul cores. Most were rank 6 soul cores, and a portion was rank 7. But there were no rank 8 soul cores which came from immemorial soul beasts. With Fang Yuan's battle strength, it was easy for him to kill these desolate level soul beasts and ancient soul beasts. After he arrived in Green Ghost Desert, many desolate beasts and ancient desolate beasts came to find trouble with him. Fang Yuan was charging through their territories, so he would naturally be attacked by them. Most of these beasts were soul beasts. Fang Yuan had ghostly concealment. Auspicious Cloud, however, was not concealed. The target of these soul beasts was the Auspicious Cloud. While neglecting Fang Yuan, unfortunately they all fell to Fang Yuan's sinister scheme. The emergence of soul beasts was related to 2 demon venerables. One was Red Lotus Demon Venerable. He damaged Fate Gu, creating a loophole in the great Tao of the world which allowed many beings to escape from the restrictions of fate. After dying, not all souls were sucked into Door of Life and Death. Many souls stayed behind in the world. The second was Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. He created Soul Path, causing souls to manifest and transform into soul beasts. But at present, a portion of soul beasts were naturally formed in some places with dense soul path Dao marks. Times were constantly changing. From immemorial antiquity to remote antiquity, olden antiquity to the present age, the world of 5 regions had already changed many times. So these soul cores could completely substitute for souls to be fed to Dang Hun Mountain and produce large amounts of Guts Gu. But the quality of these soul cores could not be compared to Gu immortal souls. At most, they could only match the souls of other beasts and plants. It hasn't even been long since I entered Green Ghost Desert, and I have already obtained so many soul cores. How I wish I could have complete control over this place. Fang Yuan thought to himself. If he could control this place, it was akin to having an endless supply of Guts Gu. It could completely push his soul foundation to the peak level, and even be used to help others. Whoosh! Just as Fang Yuan was immersed in thinking, a sharp ear-piercing sound came from behind him towards the left. A giant scorpion was flying towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's pupils immediately shrunk when he took a glance. This scorpion was completely black and had a peculiar shape. Its whole body resembled a huge round disc, its long tail was behind the disc and its 2 huge pincers flickered with eerie light. It was charging straight at Fang Yuan with terrifying momentum. This is an immemorial desolate beast disc scorpion. It is a wisdom path beast and its favorite food is soul beasts. A line of information instantly appeared in Fang Yuan's mind. Fang Yuan's ghostly concealment could conceal him from the senses of soul beasts, but it had no effect on other beasts. Fang Yuan jumped out of the auspicious cloud and escaped. Fang Yuan had rank 8 battle strength. He was not helpless against this immemorial desolate beast. However, his goal in this trip was not to fight a drawn-out battle with the disc scorpion, but to gather as many soul cores as possible. Fang Yuan retreated, but the disc scorpion did not let go. However, after a while of being chased, Fang Yuan was able to successfully throw off the disc scorpion by using his ample methods. Danger lurked everywhere in Green Ghost Desert, even Fang Yuan was not safe here. Over the next few days, Fang Yuan hunted soul beasts while cultivating soul path, increasing his soul foundation. If he ran into any existences like the disc scorpion, Fang Yuan would prioritize escaping as much as possible. Fang Yuan was not the only one hunting, the Shadow Sect members were also doing the same. The soul cores obtained by the immortals were given to Xianxia land spirit to produce large amounts of Guts Gu. In less than half a month, Fang Yuan's soul foundation had reached the range of 10 million man soul again. My soul foundation is enough, it is time to change battle tactics. Fang Yuan instructed the Shadow Sect immortals to stop killing soul beasts, instead, they would start capturing, subduing, or enslaving them. Fang Yuan had spectral soul's true inheritance, he possessed large amounts of methods to enslave soul beasts. The only thing limiting him was that he lacked soul path and enslavement path immortal Gu. Under everyone's efforts, they soon controlled a large group of soul beasts. There were roughly over 60 desolate level soul beasts, and around 20 ancient soul beasts. Soul beasts of all kinds of grotesque shapes formed a majestic army that rampaged around in Green Ghost Desert. When they encountered lone soul beasts or small groups of soul beasts, Fang Yuan would command the enslaved soul beasts to charge at them. Those that could not be controlled were killed for their soul cores, and those soul beasts that were on their last breaths would be enslaved by Fang Yuan and the rest. A dozen or so days passed, the enslaved soul beast army expanded by 3 times the original size. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know in report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1504, Meeting a Benefactor. Chapter 1504, Meeting a Benefactor. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. In Green Ghost Desert, the sky was always covered with dark clouds and there was barely any sunlight. A small group of soul beasts were moving in the desert. Different from the rest, there were 3 Gu immortals in this soul beast group. 2 were captives and 1 was the master of these soul beasts. He, you 2 lads from Fang clan, have you thought it through? The Gu immortal in charge was dressed in a grey robe. He had a sharp nose, thin eyes, and had a goatee. He was sitting on the back of a bull-shaped ancient soul beast and was looking at the 2 Gu immortal captives beside him with a dark and pleased expression. Fang Lang and Fang Yun had rank 6 cultivation, they looked clean and tidy, but in fact, their souls were completely bound by dark grey soul chains and could not even budge. Fang Lang, who was slightly older, had a square face. He kept quiet and did not reply. The slightly younger Fang Yun had a handsome appearance, he had a rather lively nature as he replied, "Old Ghost by June, it is not that we cannot write a letter to the clan for you, but you have bound our souls, we cannot even activate our communication means. How about loosening the chains a little so I can message the clan?" Old Ghost by June snorted, "You are so sneaky, wanting to deceive this old ghost. You only need an instant to escape with your body cloud killer move. It was not easy for me to capture you, you think I can be so easily fooled?" Fang Yun quickly said, "How could I dare to fool Senior? It is just that what I said is the truth. You see, it is like this, Before he finished speaking, Fang Yun's whole body started shaking as he let out a terrifyingly miserable scream. Old Ghost by June snickered, while Fang Lang called out furiously, "Stop, don't hurt my junior brother." Old Ghost by June was annoyed, "Looks like you guys are accustomed to acting without consequences, you still don't recognize your situation. Humph, then let me teach you." He then activated his method, tormenting Fang Lang as well. Fang Lang grunted, his brows tightly furrowed, but he did not utter a sound, except his trembling was growing increasingly intense. Old Ghost by June tortured them for a while and only stopped when he saw Fang Clan's 2 immortals turning pale as paper, their bodies shaking and covered in sweat. He inwardly frowned, if it were ordinary lone cultivators, I could have killed them without consequences. But these 2 have quite the background, Fang Clan is a super force of Western Desert. If I rashly kill them, Fang Clan will definitely be able to find that I am the culprit. Fang Clan's second supreme elder Fang Di Chang is a famous wisdom path expert of Western Desert. Also, if Fang Clan comes to search Green Ghost Desert, it will hinder Master's plan. But if I just let them go and Master asks me later, he might blame me for being cowardly. The only thing I can do now is capture these 2 to demand ransom from Fang Clan, and then set an agreement. With this, I can satisfy both sides. Old Ghost by June thought things through and looked at these 2 captives again. Fang Lang and Fang Yun were gasping and sweating, collapsed on the ground because of the torture. Old Ghost by June sneered, even an iron-forged man won't be able to endure my methods. To tell you the truth, I am not afraid of you not giving in. What do you think? Want to try it again? Fong Ling said through clenched teeth, Old Ghost, just kill us. Fong Yun however shouted, don't, I will contact the clan, okay? Old Ghost by June looked at Fong Yun's terror-stricken look and laughed, you should have said so before, then you wouldn't have to suffer so much pain. Do it quickly. Fong Yun gave a miserable cry, Senior Old Ghost, I am telling the truth, if you don't loosen your chains a little, Junior truly is unable to message the clan. Old Ghost by June was furious, still making excuses. He once again activated his methods, tormenting the two Fong Clan Gu immortals. After another while of torture, Fong Lang and Fong Yun could not endure it any longer, their bodies collapsed on the soul beast's back like a pile of mud. Have you thought it through? Old Ghost by June sneered. Fong Lang did not utter a sound, while Fong Yun said, yes. But I wonder if Senior Old Ghost has thought it through. Me? What do I have to think about? Old Ghost by June asked in surprise. Senior, we are Fong Clan's Gu immortals. Senior is a lone cultivator, if you provoke Fong Clan, your life will probably become turbulent, right? How about letting us go and getting on good terms with our Fong Clan? Wouldn't that be better? Fong Yun smiled. Old Ghost by June was immediately filled with anger, kid, you think I am afraid of your Fong Clan? Humph. If I were afraid of your Fong Clan, would I have captured you for ransom? Senior is thinking of making a non-aggression pact with our Fong Clan by doing this. Junior admits today's matter is our fault, and we have offended Senior. We have committed much offense, but please forgive us, Senior. Fong Yun spoke weakly. Humph, now you admit defeat, why did you find trouble with me repeatedly earlier? It is too late for that now. Old Ghost by June's voice was firm, but was inwardly shaken. His intention was already guessed by the two Fong Clan Gu immortals, so it was going to be difficult to force them to give in. Fong Yun continued to persuade, Senior can punish me, and I will accept the punishment. Actually, I have a lot of assets in the clan, so long as Senior lets us go, we can immediately set a non-aggression agreement, we will take it as this matter did not happen and we will even heavily compensate Senior. With this, we also don't need to let the clan know of this scandalous matter as that would truly decrease our prestige in the clan. Old Ghost by June scoffed, you think I was born yesterday? What prestige do you, Fong Yun, have in Fong Clan? It is your senior brother Fong Lang who is a talent among rank 6s, and is a possible successor of Fong Clan. Fong Yun's heart sank, he had not expected Old Ghost by June to have such detailed information on them. But he still continued, wouldn't resolving this privately be better? If we escalate this, it might not have a good ending. Old Ghost by June shook his head, no, what status do you two have? I will discuss with your Fong Clan's first Supreme Elder, and besides getting my compensation, you will not be allowed to take a single step in Green Ghost Desert for the next few hundred years. Fong Lang and Fong Yun's expressions immediately changed. Fong Ling said, Old Ghost by June, you are still after this Green Ghost Desert. Your appetite is too big, be careful or your stomach might burst. Old Ghost by June laughed in a strange tone, although I have rank 7 cultivation, I am close to rank 8. Fong Ling shook his head, so what? Do you dare to undergo the tribulation? Old Ghost by June stroked his goatee, of course, I don't. But, not daring now doesn't mean I won't dare in the future. He hesitated before making up his mind. Alright, let me destroy all your hopes, take a look at what Gu this is. Fong Yun and Fong Ling immediately raised their heads to look at a ladybird-like Gu in Old Ghost by June's hand. This Gu was like sapphire, it was the size of small bowl, and its thick carapace was dotted with countless golden star specks. These golden star specks constantly twinkled with various lights, giving a dazzling sense to others. Fong Yun's and Fong Ling's minds shook fiercely, their eyes could not conceal their panic. Fong Ling's eyes widened and he was speechless momentarily. This is a rank 8 immortal Gu. Fong Yun cried out in shock. Old Ghost by June said, "Please, let me teach you, this rank 8 immortal Gu's name is Soul Beast Token, it can directly allow me to enslave soul beasts. Rank 8 Soul Beast Token can enslave immemorial soul beasts and what it requires is not rank 8 immortal essence. I can use it now. Do you understand what this means?" Fong Lang and Fong Yun looked at each other in shock. The meaning behind this was too big. With this rank 8 immortal Gu, Old Ghost by June could go about his plans slowly. He could control an immemorial soul beast, then use it to control a huge soul beast army and even control this whole Green Ghost Desert. Green Ghost Desert had an inestimable number of soul beasts. This was a dangerous land to others, but it was a paradise to Old Ghost by June. No wonder you have such an ambition, you want to grasp this place, then use an immemorial soul beast to help you smoothly pass your tribulation and become a rank 8 great expert. Fong Leng's voice turned hoarse. Fong Yun quickly spoke, "But our Fong clan is the nearest super clan to Green Ghost Desert. As long as Senior reaches an agreement with our Fong clan, you will have gained the safest cultivation environment." "Indeed, it is good, you know." Old Ghost by June's eyes flickered sharply. "Actually, I need to thank you too, you came at such a time. One is a direct great-grandson of Fong clan's first Supreme Elder, while the other is the second Supreme Elder's adopted son. Although both of you are only rank 6, you two have sufficient weight to be put into a negotiation." Fong Lang and Fong Yun were silent. Fong Lang inwardly thought, this Old Ghost by June is indeed a schemer. Everything is different now with this Soul Beast Token Immortal Gu. With an immemorial Soul Beast beside him, Old Ghost by June will need to be treated as a quasi-rank 8 existence. The clan needs to be very careful when dealing with him. More importantly, with us as captives, Old Ghost by June indeed has the best chips to talk terms. Sigh, if I knew this, I would not have listened to Junior Brother's instigation to adventure here. Just as he was thinking, Fong Lang suddenly heard Fong Yun shout. "Senior Brother, look over there." Fong Yun's voice was filled with pleasant surprise. Fong Lang curiously looked over, seeing the dark clouds above Green Ghost Desert covering the sunlight, but right now, a white cloud was slowly flying under the dense dark clouds, and was gradually nearing them. Fong Lang was slightly stumped as he suddenly recalled the conversation he had with Fong Yun before leaving. "Fong Lang, you have such big guts, you actually want to adventure in Green Ghost Desert." Fong Yun laughed. "Be at ease, Senior Brother, I had requested Father to make deductions on this adventure. He had deduced that this trip will be threatening but not dangerous. We will meet a benefactor along the way and reap huge harvests." Fong Lang frowned, "Not to mention that few people tread in Green Ghost Desert. Even if we meet someone else, how would you know if this person is the benefactor?" Fong Yun patted Fong Lang's shoulder. "I had asked Father, he said that the benefactor will come on a white cloud." Fong Lang was dazed, before scoffing, "White cloud? Everyone knows, Green Ghost Desert is shrouded by layers of dark clouds, how can there be white cloud?" Thinking of this conversation, Fong Lang looked at the white cloud and thought, could it be the benefactor as told by Second Supreme Elder? Old Ghost by June also stared at the white cloud with a gloomy expression. "This white cloud emits luck path aura, but it is not only luck path, clearly someone has used an immortal killer move. Who is it? Who owns such rare luck path methods? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1505, Directly Attacking. Chapter 1505, Directly Attacking. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Rumble. A vast soul beast army was moving in Green Ghost Desert, raising dust clouds in their way. And ahead of the soul beast army was a white auspicious cloud flying gently. The white cloud was Fong Yuan's immortal killer move Spontaneous Auspicious Cloud. Fong Yuan had come to Green Ghost Desert to only search for soul cores, and did not have any precise goals. So over these days, he let Spontaneous Auspicious Cloud lead the way. The effect was pretty good, as he added some small-scale soul beast groups. As a result, this soul beast army's scale had enlarged further, the numbers were astonishing. But this amount is already my limit. Fang Yuan was riding a soul beast, his body moving slightly along with the soul beast's movements. He felt some regret. All beings had big or small capabilities, there was some form of limit in terms of capabilities. Controlling so many soul beasts was Fang Yuan's current upper limit, he could not control any more. On one hand, controlling these soul beasts depended on his soul foundation, which was at 90 million man soul. On the other hand, Fang Yuan had too few soul path immortal Gu, they were rank 7 change soul, and rank 6 cleanse soul. Change soul immortal Gu had to be left as a trump card, because it was the core immortal Gu of switch soul in Dream Killer move, and could not be used casually. While rank 6 cleanse soul immortal Gu was very useful, it was used by Fang Yuan in Myriad Self, as well as his own soul path cultivation. He was using it as a replacement now, and was just barely able to control these soul beasts, it was being used in many things simultaneously. In the case of cleanse soul immortal Gu, it had a lot of different uses, Fang Yuan was able to do different things by raising just this one Gu. It was much better than raising change soul immortal Gu. But like this, cleanse soul immortal Gu could not handle many situations at the same time as a single Gu. I need more soul path immortal Gu, best would be rank 7 ones. Gu refinement was out of the question. Refining rank 7 soul path immortal Gu was indeed a tempting thought, but Fang Yuan was lacking resources and would not be able to bear the cost of large-scale Gu refinement. After all, he had invested in many things in this recent period, and had also refined many immortal Gu. And in terms of his earnings, there were few, only the dragonfish business was worth anticipating. I have a lot of wisdom path immortal Gu, I can use them as replacements. It is just that the killer moves would have to be modified. After returning to Langya Blessed Land, I will use the light of wisdom to modify suitable killer moves. Fang Yuan's expression was calm as he continued to plan. The Shadow Sect Immortals were at the four corners of the Beast Group, commanding the Soul Beast Army for Fang Yuan, while also scouting their surroundings. Green Ghost Desert had countless soul beasts, these soul beasts were an extremely desired resource for Fang Yuan. My soul is at 90 million man soul currently, the soul cores harvested in this trip will be enough to advance me to 100 million man soul level. But even if I attain 100 million man soul, it is only midway in the soul cultivation records in Spectral Soul True Inheritance, it is far from the peak. 100 million man soul was the limit of a human soul, after reaching this point, they had reached the peak and could not progress further. But this situation was before Red Lotus Demon Venerable's period. When Red Lotus Demon Venerable broke Fate Gu, this limit was also destroyed. The human soul could continue to advance, but no one found the way to advance. In fact, it was already amazing for someone to have a million-man soul back then. When Spectral Soul Demon Venerable created Soul Path, he innovated new ideas with his Soul Path Supreme Grandmaster attainment level, and found the way to continue advancing beyond 100 million man soul. As stated by Spectral Soul's True Inheritance, above 100 million man soul was Desolate Soul. 100 million man soul could solidify the human soul, and the soul could directly interfere with the real world and would not simply be an illusory body like before. But even so, 100 million man soul was still fragile. This was an inherent deficiency of humans. Man was the spirit of all living beings and had extremely high comprehension, but their physical bodies and souls were far inferior to other beings. However, once they cross 100 million man soul and step into Desolate Soul, just their soul alone would have the strength of a Desolate level soul beast. Cultivating the Desolate Soul further until the limit, that would be 100 million Desolate Soul. This level was the peak of soul cultivation, and also the limit that the world could contain. Fang Yuan had personally witnessed this level before, it was that terrifying giant form of Spectral Soul's main body. As recorded in Spectral Soul True Inheritance, it was 3-headed Thousand Arms Demon Soul. Reaching this level meant possessing quasi-rank 9 battle strength, the soul could directly resist calamities and tribulations, defying the heavens and stamping the earth, slaughtering deities and ghosts, shocking the world. So Fang Yuan had an extremely huge demand for Guts Gu. The soul cores he obtained in this trip to Green Ghost Desert could push him to 100 million man soul level, but what about later? If Fong Yuan wanted to cultivate his soul to the peak, he definitely required much more and an unceasing supply of soul cores. The best scenario is to get control of this desert and become its owner. Like many Gu immortals did, controlling an area was to make the natural resources in the area into one's own assets. Battle strength was required to accomplish this. With Fong Yuan's current strength, he had the qualifications to occupy this region. Especially since this Green Ghost Desert was an unowned land. But there was a problem in this. Once I expose my identity and govern this area, it will be the same as asking Heavenly Court to attack me. Reverse Flow Protection Seal cannot be disguised, and Myriad Dragon is also the same. Then I can only disguise my identity and use rank 7 battle strength to fight for this place. After I get this place, I could arrange Xianxia to station here and let him command the Soul Beast army, supplying me with soul cores. Among the people he had, Xianxia was the most suitable choice. To do this, I need more Soul Path Immortal Gu and to also raise Xianxia's soul foundation. The important point is Fong Clan. This Western Desert Superforce is the nearest to Green Ghost Desert. If I control this place, Fong Clan would be my neighbor and is a barrier that I can't get around. Getting rid of Fong Clan was not realistic. Fong Yuan's current battle strength could fight rank 8, but winning against a rank 8 great expert was difficult. Furthermore, Fong Clan not only had a rank 8 first Supreme Elder, this generation's second Supreme Elder, Fong Di Chang, was a Wisdom Path great expert who had been renowned in Fong Yuan's first life. Fong Di Chang had an extremely deep Wisdom Path attainment, possessing Wisdom Path Great Grandmaster attainment level, and was also marked in Shadow Sex information. So Fong Yuan only had one path before him. Disguise as a lone cultivator, get close to the righteous path, then build a good relationship with Fong Clan. It was not easy to conspire for a resource area, there were many things to be considered. Fortunately, Green Ghost Desert was rather special as most of the Western Desert Gu immortals and clans lacked methods to develop it. This gave Fong Yuan the best opportunity possible. However, he did not know that he was not the only one who had an intention to occupy Green Ghost Desert. There are people ahead. Fong Yuan's expression suddenly changed, his current investigative methods were no longer like before, he immediately sensed Old Ghost by June and the rest the moment they entered his investigative range. Is the benefactor coming? Fong Yun was inwardly going crazy with excitement. Fong Ling also had a look of anticipation. Old Ghost by June's gaze was frosty, when he made out some details of the white cloud, he restrained himself and waited for the other side. Soon, the three Gu immortals sensed the ground starting to softly tremor. Then they saw dust clouds surging on the horizon, as one soul beast after another appeared in their sight. A large amount of soul beasts appeared, causing the three immortals' expression to change. And when the whole soul beast army was revealed, all three were shaken. This. Old Ghost by June lost his voice, he had thought his soul beast group was of a large enough scale, but now he discovered that he did not even hold a candle to Fong Yuan's soul beast army. The Shadow Sect immortals had already entered Fong Yuan's immortal aperture, while Fong Yuan had changed into another appearance. He looked like a skinny middle-aged man, with long gray hair, a pair of black eyes which seemed to contain vicissitudes of life and ambition. His sight would make anyone feel like this person was absolutely a formidable person. Right now, Fong Yuan was dressed in a black robe, and his hands were clasped behind his back. He was standing proudly on the back of a soul beast while controlling the soul beast army, an awe-inspiring demonic aura lingering around him. Old Ghost by June and the rest were shaken, and subconsciously held their breath. Fong Ling turned to look at Fong Yun, his gaze filled with doubts. Why does your benefactor feel even more demonic than Old Ghost by June? Fong Yun rolled his eyes, his meaning was, you are asking me, but who should I ask? Perhaps he is the case of men cannot be judged by their looks, he could be of righteous path. Fong Yuan had used familiar face to disguise himself, so there was not even a little flaw. Old Ghost by June was awed by Fong Yuan's aura, he coughed, then clasped his hands in greetings, I wonder how I should address you. Fong Yuan's cold gaze swept past the three immortals, chilling their hearts. He did not reply, he only waved his hand. Roar! The Soul Beast army started roaring and howling, their voices reverberating everywhere. Then, the large army, like a surging tide, charged towards Old Ghost by June's group. Their momentum was like countless horses and soldiers running in the battlefield. As the saying went, a slightest disagreement of words could result in a fight. But Fang Yuan did not even speak a word, and instead straightforwardly made a move, his intense killing intent causing the three immortals' hearts to sink. Fang Ling once again looked at Fang Yun, as if shouting, "Are you saying this is not a demon? Now, your benefactor is about to take our lives." Fang Yun innocently looked at Fang Ling, as if replying, "Why blame me? I am innocent too." Old Ghost by June was stunned, before becoming furious. He thought, "I am trying peaceful measures so as to not to add troubles to Master's plan. I did not think this maniac would directly make a killing move without even any greeting. When did this maniac appear in Western Desert? He is simply disregarding me. Alright, I will let you know that not everyone can be so easily bullied." At this thought, Old Ghost by June shouted and flew to the sky like a flash of lightning. "Come, let's battle." He opened his arms wide, his sleeves expanded like two black holes from where countless dark currents surged out. The dark currents moved towards Fang Yuan like black pythons. Fang Yuan pointed his finger. Wisdom Path Immortal Killer Move, Ignited Thought Flying Rock. Rumble. Using offense against offense, the dark currents resisted for a while but could not endure it any longer as they dispersed. The red meteorite's power was decreased by half, but still continued to smash towards the ground. Old Ghost by June's Soul Beast army cried miserably from the bombardment, many were killed instantly or heavily injured. Old Ghost by June's pupils shrunk in fright, such power. He is a Wisdom Path Gu immortal. Fang Ling was astonished. "Don't kill me, we are Fang Clan's Gu immortals, we are Old Ghost by June's enemies and not friends." Fang Yun shouted loudly. "If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1506, Soul Explosion. Chapter 1506, Soul Explosion. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Fang Clan's Gu Immortals. Fang Yuan's ears twitched at Fang Yun's shout. Although he had investigated that the relation between Fang Yun, Fang Ling, and Old Ghost by June seemed to be rather tense, Fang Yuan had not expected they were hostile towards each other. Moreover, Fang Clan's Gu immortals seemed to be captives. The reason Fang Yuan immediately made a move was because he recognized Old Ghost by June. This person was a rank 7 Soul Path Gu immortal. By killing him, Fang Yuan could take the aperture to increase his sovereign immortal aperture's resources and also increase his soul path Dao marks. If he could be captured alive, Fang Yuan could give his body to Ying Wuxia. After all, Ying Wuxia was proficient in soul path methods but was using water path Gu immortal fairy Cui Bo's body, which did not suit him and limited his capabilities. To disguise himself and make it more convenient to fight for Green Ghost Desert while also hiding from Heavenly Court and other forces, Fang Yuan did not use his true appearance. Instantly, thoughts started moving like lightning in Fang Yuan's mind before getting in order. Looks like this spontaneous auspicious cloud is pretty good. I had just thought of communicating with Fang Clan and building a good relationship. Who could have thought it would send me such a good opportunity at the next moment? Of course, this is also because of my high luck. Fang Yuan had used Burning Soul Bursting Luck before coming to Green Ghost Desert. He did not ask Ying Wuxia to use it, instead personally activating it. Although it expended a lot of his soul foundation, the current Fang Yuan could completely bear it. Save the 2 Fang Clan Gu immortals and take this Old Ghost by June as a captive. Fang Yuan's gaze brightened sharply. He had thought of killing them all, then annexing Old Ghost by June's Soul Beast group. But now, he changed his plan. Fang Clan. Although I had never interacted with Fang Clan, it has some credit in regards to my current cultivation level. Oh well, since you encountered me, I shall save you and repay the kindness. Fang Yuan spoke, although his voice was cold, Fong Lang and Fong Yun felt joyous. Fong Yun's eyes opened wide, his lips parted in a grin, as he repeatedly raised his brows at Fong Lang, as if saying, "Look, he is indeed the benefactor." Fong Lang ignored him, as he looked at Fong Yuan and Old Ghost by June, frowning. He thought, this Gu immortal's origin is mysterious, there is no such person in my memories. If he really wanted to save us, he should have hidden his intention and saved us later. But he intentionally mentioned it, why? Either he does not want to save us and is only intentionally saying it to attract Old Ghost by June's attention. Or, he truly wants to save us, but his nature is aloof and has complete confidence in himself, he has absolute assurance that he can save us even if he informs the enemy of his intention. You want to save them from me, it will not be easy. Old Ghost by June was furious at Fong Yuan's words, a powerful aura burst out from his body as it brushed aside the ignited thought-flying rocks and charged towards Fong Yuan. Commendable courage, but poor foresight. Fong Yuan sneered, as he flew to the sky and pointed his finger. In an instant, dozens of strange lights shot at Old Ghost by June, turning him into a sieve of holes. Old Ghost by June did not let out any blood, instead his body gradually turned into nothingness. Ha ha ha, you fell right into my trap. Old Ghost by June's true body appeared at another direction. He had used an illusion to lure Fong Yuan's attention, while his true body was hidden. Old Ghost by June did not choose to sneak attack Fong Yuan, instead he approached Fong Lang and Fong Yun. Didn't Fong Yuan say he would save these two? Old Ghost by June immediately had an idea to use these two as shields. This was the first time Old Ghost by June had seen Fong Yuan, but through the exchange earlier as well as the size of Fong Yuan's soul beast army, Old Ghost by June knew Fong Yuan was powerful, and he was not Fong Yuan's match in a head-on fight. So he wanted to use Fong Lang and Fong Yun to threaten Fong Yuan, who wanted to save them. Crap! Looking at Old Ghost by June approaching them rapidly, Fong Yun shouted in dismay. But right at this moment, a figure appeared before the two immortals from the thin air. It was the transformed Fong Yuan. Old Ghost by June, who is the one who has fallen into a trap? The corners of Fong Yuan's lips slightly rose to reveal a demonic smile. Oh no! Old Ghost by June's mind jolted fiercely as he realized he had fallen into the enemy's trap, and quickly tried to escape. But it was already too late. About 10 soul beasts suddenly appeared in the air, surrounding Old Ghost by June. Detonate! Fong Yuan commanded with a thought. Boom boom boom. The soul beasts self-detonated, the terrifying power of the detonation shocking Fong Lang and Fong Yun. The air wave that rose from the explosion, formed into a shock wave which spread in all directions. Dust clouds rose everywhere in the desert, the dark clouds in the sky billowed outwards. Fong Yuan had intended to use wisdom path methods to capture Old Ghost by June. But soon after, he thought about the fact that the wisdom path method originated from Purple Mountain True Monarch. The ignited thought flying rock he had used earlier could be hidden. After Fong Yuan had modified this move, its effect had changed a lot. But if he used other wisdom path methods, it was very likely to be found out by others. So Fong Yuan gave up wisdom path and used soul path. His soul path methods were slightly inferior to wisdom path. After all, he only had a few soul path immortal Gu. But among them was a soul explosion method, which was an action of mutual destruction and had terrifying might. Back when Qin Baisheng had first fought Feng Jiugu, Qin Baisheng had yet to recover his original memories and was not Feng Jiuji's match. But Feng Jiugu was wary of his soul explosion method and did not deal any fatal blows, letting Qin Baisheng go. Even Feng Jiugu was wary of soul explosion, Fong Yuan naturally had to grasp this method. But he would not explode his own soul, at most it would only be for burning soul bursting luck. However, he could use soul beasts, these soul beasts' soul explosions was a little impure and even their soul cores would be destroyed, but the resulting power was truly impressive. Cough cough. Dust clouds dissipated, Old Ghost by June was floating in the air, the greater part of his body was gone, his limbs were destroyed with only his left arm remaining, and he looked like he was at the end of his life. He is still alive. Fong Ling exclaimed in surprise. Fong Yuan sneered, it was good he was alive, he could be captured and his body could be given to Ing Wuxia. But, I can't do that in front of the Fong clan Gu immortals. All kinds of thoughts jumped around in Fong Yuan's mind. The sovereign immortal body had ample aid to the mind to begin with, now that Fong Yuan had both wisdom path attainment and methods, any issue was clearly and properly analyzed. Fong Yuan said, you have some skills in soul cultivation. You are still alive after falling into my trap. Forget it. I, Swan Bujin, have a rule, that is to not take things too far and always leave room for peace. Since you are still alive, then go. I won't make a move today, now scram. Old Ghost by June was panting and his face was pale, he fiercely stared at Fong Yuan. He had regretted it the moment the soul beasts appeared and surrounded him. The enemy clearly emitted wisdom path aura, why did he think of playing tricks with such a person? Even if he wanted to plot, he should have planned carefully. The soul beast's self-detonation was out of his expectations. At that instant, Old Ghost by June's mind was completely blank, with just one thought, that was to defend and preserve his life. After the explosion, Old Ghost by June did not even think of the intense pain and only felt extreme joy at being alive. But after the joy came fear and anger. He had almost died. His chest was filled with the fire of this anger, as well as fear towards Fong Yuan's schemes and methods. Either you die or I die. With such a thought, Old Ghost by June was just about to use rank 8 Immortal Gu Soul Beast token, but Fong Yuan actually let him go. According to Fong Yuan's nature, he would always wipe out and eradicate the 9 generations of his enemies, but today's situation was somewhat special. Fong Yuan was trying to obtain Old Ghost by June's body and was also mindful of Fong clan, so he chose to let Old Ghost by June go for the moment. Old Ghost by June had been afraid and furious, feeling that he only had a chance of survival if he fought to the end, but he had never expected Fong Yuan to actually spare him. Old Ghost by June was immediately confused. Is he deceiving me to lower my fighting spirit and make me let go of my vigilance? Old Ghost by June had been tricked by Fong Yuan once, so he doubted everything now. Fong Yuan looked at his expression and knew what he was thinking, you are still here. I already gave you a chance, are you really looking for your death? Humph. Old Ghost by June forgot his rage, he just stared at Fong Yuan. At the side, Fong Lang and Fong Yun who were collapsed on the back of the soul beast were also looking at Fong Yuan. Fong Yuan was standing tall like a spear on the back of the soul beast, his hands were clasped behind his back, and his gaze was like cold lightning that arrogantly looked down on the world. He showed absolute confidence that even if he let his enemy go, he would not be afraid of the troubles the enemy might bring him. Fong Lang lowered his eyes and thought, this person is full of demonic aura, he is confident and arrogant, but has a bottom line and principle. So he is this kind of person, only such a person could take the initiative to expose his intention of saving us. Fong Yun, however, was watching with a stupefied expression. Old Ghost by June slowly narrowed his eyes which flickered with a gloomy light. Although his injuries were severe, most of his strength still remained, especially when he still had a huge trump card remaining, rank 8 Immortal Gu Soul Beast token. But there was a huge price to pay to activate this Gu. Old Ghost by June did not want to use it lightly. Just now, he wanted to activate it disregarding the costs to have a chance at survival, but Fong Yuan instead let him go. No matter if he is truly letting me go, I need to try to escape first and see what he will do. If he is just pretending, I will just turn back and stake my life against him. If he is truly letting me go, then I will just escape. Old Ghost by June was extremely wary towards Fong Yuan. Even if he activated the rank 8 Immortal Gu Soul Beast token, Old Ghost by June did not have confidence to win against Fong Yuan. And it was also because he had another concern, what if he revealed he had a rank 8 Immortal Gu, making Fong Yuan change his mind and attack him to seize the Gu. All kinds of thoughts lingered in Old Ghost by June's mind, before he scoffed and left. He was quite fast, his broken body was like a loose arrow that quickly flew into the dark clouds and disappeared from the immortal's sights. Benefactor, you are truly letting him go? He has a rank 8 immortal Gu. Fang Yun was dazed for a while before crying out in shock. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1507, Qin Clan's Inheritance. Chapter 1507, Qin Clan's Inheritance. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Oh. There was such a thing. Looks like he had a fortuitous encounter. But since I already said it, I will let him go. Do you want me to go against my own words? Fang Yuan's expression changed slightly as he looked at Fang Yun and Fang Lang with a sharp and cold gaze. Fang Yun and Fang Lang looked at each other, feeling Fang Yuan's sharp gaze piercing into their hearts. He quickly looked away, not daring to meet Fang Yuan's gaze. At the same time, he exclaimed inwardly, this benefactor is so domineering, he is really not easy to interact with. On the contrary, Fang Lang's mind calmed. Good, this person is a man of his word, even with such a huge temptation like a rank 8 immortal Gu in front of him, he still stands by his words, he can be said to be extremely conceited. But only like this can the two of us have a chance of survival. Thinking of this, Fang Lang struggled to get up. I am Fang Lang and this is my junior brother Fang Yun, we thank Senior for saving us. Fang Yuan lightly nodded, before suddenly stretching out his hands. A formless force burst out, sucking both Fang Lang and Fang Yun to Fang Yuan's hands. Fang Lang's heart jumped but he restrained himself, while Fang Yun cried out in shock and panic. But shortly, when the two saw that Fang Yuan was getting rid of their shackles, they put their minds at ease. To Fang Yuan, Old Ghost by Jun's methods were not anything novel. He soon saw through it completely, then started removing it. A move that could bind Fang Yun and Fang Lang was naturally an immortal method, but Fang Yuan had a killer move like Purple Thought Perception Starlight and was able to easily get rid of it. Fang Lang and Fang Yun soon regained their freedom. The two gave thanks once again, but their minds were fluctuating as they thought, this person is so domineering, although he saved us, he never asked us our opinions and immediately made a move. They could hardly imagine this was all done intentionally by Fang Yuan. He succeeded in ingraining a self-conceited and domineering image in these two Fang clan Gu immortals' minds. You can address me as Xuan Bujin. Fang Yuan said, introducing himself. But with his second sentence, Fang Yuan drove them off. I mainly cultivate wisdom path, and have inherited Jing Jing Shen's inheritance, which is why I saved you too. You can leave now. Ah. Fang Yun was dazed. Junior shall deeply remember Senior's kindness, and will report it to the clan. Senior, will you remain in Green Ghost Desert? Fang Lang pulled Fang Yun's sleeve, then respectfully inquired. I have a use for these soul beasts, I saved you too not for any benefits, go now. Fang Yuan waved his hand coldly, his gaze revealing a trace of impatience. Fang Lang and Fang Yun did not dare to disturb him again. Both bowed in respect before flying away. After a while, the two had disappeared over the horizon. I did not expect Old Ghost by June to have a rank 8 immortal Gu. I wonder what Gu it is, how did those two Fang clan Gu immortals know of it, did Old Ghost by June use the Gu in front of them? Fang Yuan pondered. Old Ghost by June only had rank 7 cultivation but could use rank 8 immortal Gu, this signified he had some special method, or this rank 8 immortal Gu was a top-tier Gu like attitude Gu. Regardless of the reason, Fang Yuan was moved. But there is no hurry to find trouble with Old Ghost by June. Fang Yuan slightly drooped his eyebrows as he had a sensation in his mind which showed Old Ghost by June's location. With his cautious nature, Fang Yuan had already planted an investigative method on Old Ghost by June the moment he made a move. Although Fang Yuan let Old Ghost by June go, he actually had a firm grasp on the latter's whereabouts. In the past, Fang Yuan did not have such methods. But recently, he had wholeheartedly immersed himself in cultivation. He had a lot more methods than before. Senior brother, do you think that benefactor knew old Ghost by June had a rank 8 immortal Gu, so he wanted to save us quickly before going after old Ghost by June? While flying, Fong Yun suddenly asked. Fong Ling thought for a moment before shaking his head. With my understanding of Senior Xuanbu Jin, that should not be the case. Fong Yun could not hold back his laughter. From your words, you sound like you are familiar with Senior. Aren't you the same as me, meeting Senior for the first time before being driven away? Fong Ling glanced at Fong Yun. The rank 8 immortal Gu is indeed a huge matter, but this Senior is extremely proud and aloof by nature. I am probably not wrong in this. Furthermore, we did not specifically inform him of what that rank 8 immortal Gu was. If Senior truly wanted to go capture old Ghost by June, wouldn't he have asked us about what this rank 8 immortal Gu is and what its ability is? Fong Yun smacked his forehead. Your analysis makes sense. Looks like Senior really is not going to hunt old Ghost by June. Sigh. That old Ghost by June tormented us so badly, I was hoping Senior would put him in his place. Fong Ling shook his head. That rank 8 immortal Gu soul beast token can command soul beasts. If Senior led his soul beast army to fight, he would probably suffer huge losses. We should first return and inform the clan, let the other supreme elders decide. Green Ghost Desert was near Fong clan's territory. After flying for a while, Fong Yun and Fong Ling arrived before an immortal formation. Using this immortal formation, they teleported a long distance, arriving directly at the clan's headquarters. Fong Yun and Fong Ling bade farewell. Fong Ling went to report to First Supreme Elder, while Fong Yun went to report this to Second Supreme Elder Fong Di Chang. Fong clan's affairs were basically decided by First Supreme Elder and Second Supreme Elder. After hearing of this matter, the two elders first placated Fong Ling and Fong Yun, before meeting to discuss this matter. Second Supreme Elder asked, does First Supreme Elder know of Xianxia? First Supreme Elder slightly nodded. This person was a legendary lone cultivator tens of thousands of years ago, and had quite some relation with our Fong clan. In his earlier years of cultivation, he had received financial support from our clan, and he even had a love affair with a clan ancestor. Unfortunately, the ancestor died in a battle and Xianxia did not join Fong clan. Second Supreme Elder immediately came to a realization. Although super forces paid heavy importance to familial relations and bloodline, they would often take in new blood. Especially if they discover some Gu immortal seeds, these super forces would often support these seeds with resources. If these people truly became Gu immortals, the super force would then recruit them as their members. Naturally, such situations were rare. On one hand, they were only giving casual support in the first place as the probability of a mortal becoming an immortal was tiny. On the other hand, even if they became a Gu immortal, most of them were geniuses and elites with their own plans, they might not be willing to join a super force. But even if these people did not want to join, the kindness of the past was enough to build a close relationship. Just by being able to draw lone immortals to their side, all the previous investment the super force made would be worth it. Xianxia was a remarkable example of this. If not for the accident, he would have joined Fong clan. Naturally, he would have to marry into Fong clan. His children would also be surnamed Fong. Xianxia's matter is rather concealed, many are not even aware of him. This Xuanbu Jin is probably not lying. First Supreme Elder added. Second Supreme Elder slightly frowned. Nothing can be said before the matter is verified. There is also the possibility of him teaming up with old Ghost by June. First Supreme Elder's gaze turned heavy. If that is truly the case, then Xuanbu Jin probably collaborated with old Ghost by June to get close to my Fong clan for Qin clan's legacy. Fong Yuan of course had his scheme by intentionally showing goodwill and saving the two Fong clan Gu immortals. But in the discussion between the two Fong clan supreme elders, they had instead grouped him together with old Ghost by June and even mentioned Qin clan. This Qin clan was also a super force, but a long exterminated one. The one who slaughtered the entire Qin clan was none other than the young spectral soul demon Venerable. Before spectral soul demon Venerable became a Venerable, because of a certain irreconcilable conflict, he fought against the entirety of Qin clan alone. If Qin clan had known spectral soul would become a Venerable in the future, they would definitely not dare to go against such a person. Unfortunately, Qin clan belittled spectral soul because of their superiority in numbers and assets. Spectral soul demon Venerable grew up step by step, fighting again and again, getting stronger the more he battled. In the end, he arrived at Qin clan's headquarters and fought an intense battle, slaughtering the entirety of Qin clan. Many Qin clan Gu immortals perished in the battle. The Dao marks of spectral soul's killer moves, the Gu immortals' corpses, and the Dao marks from the destruction of immortal apertures were all engraved on the battlefield which became the current Green Ghost Desert. It was called Green 1. Ghost, because it referenced Qin clan, the former superforce. Although Qin clan was exterminated, it was rumored that Qin clan's first supreme elder, before his death, sealed all the clan resources and buried them in a certain location in Green Ghost Desert, leaving behind an inheritance. There was only one condition to inherit this inheritance, it was that the inheritor must take revenge for Qin clan by killing spectral soul. If spectral soul was already dead, then the target of revenge moved to spectral soul's family, friends, and disciples. Regretfully, spectral soul became a demon Venerable, the whole world was not his opponent, and that era groveled at his feet. Qin clan's inheritance became a joke. Fang clan was the nearest superforce to Green Ghost Desert, and thus was much more informed. When Qin clan was exterminated, Fang clan's ancestors began to actively search for the clues to Qin clan's inheritance. After generations of effort, the fragmented clues were pieced together, becoming increasingly valuable. Now, in this generation, the clues were already completed, and with a vague responsive method, the clan had begun searching Green Ghost Desert. First Supreme Elder sighed, "We don't have enough strength to control Green Ghost Desert, not to mention that we have no methods to restrict soul beasts, the number of Gu immortals we can mobilize is also few. If not for this, we would have no need to let Fang Lang and Fang Yun take the risk. Who could have expected their adventure would involve people like Old Ghost by June and Swan Bujin? I have heard of Old Ghost by June, and he actually has the rank 8 Immortal Gu Soul Beast token. And that Swan Bujin's appearance is too sudden, his origin is covered in mystery and he has powerful methods. Regardless of what the relationship of these two is, they are obstacles that our Fang clan needs to go through to search for Qin clan's inheritance." Second Supreme Elder nodded. Fang clan had many assets and networks, their Gu immortals needed to defend the territories. But Qin clan's inheritance was tempting, especially when the clues mentioned that Immortal Gu House Divine Bean Palace, which was created by Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable and left in Western Desert. Its value was extremely high and left behind a heavy mark in history. Fang clan was famous for its Gu houses, Divine Bean Palace had a high importance to them. Their resolve to explore Qin clan's inheritance and obtain Divine Bean Palace was not a matter of a generation or two, but was carried by generations after generations. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1508, Divine Bean Palace. Chapter 1508, Divine Bean Palace. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Green Ghost Desert. A battered figure was flying past the surface of the desert. Swan Bujin. You actually did not chase me, such arrogance. Humph, I will settle this debt with you sooner or later. Old Ghost by June's expression was distorted and furious as he thought of Fang Yuan. 3 of his limbs had been destroyed in the soul explosion, but they were already recovered now. It was clear that Old Ghost by June had powerful healing methods. Suddenly, his body shook as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. Old Ghost by June's face was once again filled with hatred, as he said through clenched teeth, "My soul beasts, it was not easy to gather them, but now they have all been killed. Damn it! The loss this time is too huge, more importantly, the timing is delayed now, what will I do if Master blames me? At the thought of his master, Old Ghost by June's body shook involuntarily as fear and panic surged in his heart. No, I did not handle the matters properly this time. I will definitely be severely punished by Master. What to do? No, I can't let Master know. I better conceal this and report after I accumulate another group of soul beasts. Sigh, although I am tight on time, as long as I disregard the costs and activate soul beast token, what soul beasts can't I enslave? Just as he was thinking this, a female figure suddenly appeared in front of Old Ghost by June. It is you, Eagle Concubine. Why are you here? Old Ghost by June immediately panicked when he saw this person. Eagle Concubine was dressed in a tight black clothing, perfectly displaying her seductive figure. Her face was pale white, as if she had never seen sunlight. Not only was there no rosiness, her eyes even shone with a gloomy light. She sneered, "Old geezer, you still don't understand why I came. You have spoiled Master's plan, returning in defeat. Master has specially ordered me to bring you back for questioning." What? Old Ghost by June trembled, shock and fear clouding his face. Sweat dripped down his forehead. How did Master know? Eagle Concubine sneered, "You think Master handed you a rank 8 immortal Gu without any monitoring means? You are really underestimating Master." How could I dare to underestimate Master? Humph, Eagle Concubine, don't try to drive a wedge between us. Old Ghost by June shouted furiously, "Yes, I admit I didn't handle things properly this time and caused a setback to Master's plan. But I will make up for it. There is still time. I can definitely give Master a satisfying answer." Eagle Concubine shook her head, "You still want to make up for your mistake? Humph, you already have no opportunity. You think I am deceiving you? It was truly Master who ordered me to take you back. Master personally gave the command." Old Ghost by June was deathly pale, as he cautiously asked with a trace of hope. Eagle Concubine nodded, "You can forget about it. How could I deceive you in this matter? Let's go, don't make me take action, you know Master's divine might, just return with me obediently." "Okay, I will return with you." Old Ghost by June gave a sad smile as he became dispirited. He did not have any thoughts of rebelling against his master. The two immortals set off, and after traveling an immense distance, they entered a quicksand pit. After entering the sandpit, they continued to move down for close to 1,000 li before they entered a mysterious space filled with green lights. The two immortals used their methods familiarly. The green lights immediately changed and a golden staircase appeared from the lights. In the green lights, the two could not fly, and had to move up the stairs step by step. After walking 9,999 steps, the two arrived in front of a palace door. This palace was lofty like a mountain, liveliness mixed in its solemnity, its green bricks and golden tiles emitted dense fragrance of plants and trees. And carved on the plaque on the palace door were 3 large words, "Divine Being Palace." It was the immortal Gu House of Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable that Fong clan had been conspiring to obtain for generations after generations. The two immortals did not dare to open the door, instead kneeling on the ground, kowtowing with incomparable respect. The palace door slowly started opening, revealing an extremely spacious hall. There were dozens of large pillars in the hall. They were thick and sturdy, glittering with bronze radiance. An enormous soul beast was lying inside the hall. It had a tortoise shell, 4 tiger paws, dragon tail, snake neck, and a human head. Seeing this monster, the two Gu immortals hurriedly bowed and paid respects. By June, Eagle Concubine, greets Master. Eagle Concubine was very respectful, while Old Ghost by June's face was dripping with sweat as his body shook in fear. That soul beast with disheveled hair had a ferocious expression as it let out an angry howl while staring at Old Ghost by June. Old Ghost by June had never seen his master so furious. He plopped down to the ground and shouted, "Master, please spare me, please spare me." But the soul beast paid no heed to his plea. It raised its huge right paw and suddenly grabbed Old Ghost by June. Old Ghost by June's expression distorted from fright. "Master, Master, please listen to me. Soul Beast Token Immortal Gu is still with me, I did not lose it. This failure was my mistake, but please give this servant a chance to redeem himself. This smell, it is him. Right, it is him. The soul beast sensed with closed eyes, before suddenly opening its bloodshot eyes. That long snake neck was stretched out like a pillar due to anger, the scales on it were emitting cold eerie light. The hall rang with the soul beast's shout. Eagle Concubine's face turned pale as she keenly sensed the anger and hatred contained within this shout. Spectral soul demon venerable, the enemy who eliminated my clan, I finally have caught you. Although you are dead, there is no mistake with this scent, it is your inheritor or descendant. He, ha ha ha. The soul beast began to laugh madly. The crazed laughter shook the air, forming airwaves that struck the hall repeatedly. Eagle Concubine had to retreat repeatedly, this laughter shook her very soul. Old Ghost by June, who was held by the tiger claws, was even more shocked, his eyes rolling up. But he could already sense that his master did not bring him back to punish him, it was because of that Swanbu Jin, who seemed to have a connection to spectral soul demon venerable. Suddenly, the whole of Divine Bean Palace erupted with glaring rays of green light. The green rays pierced through the soul beast's body like countless sharp arrows. The soul beast's crazed laughter stopped abruptly, as it gave a muffled groan, this damned Divine Bean Palace. It roared in agitation, and was about to go berserk. Old Ghost by June was afraid he would be crushed to death in a moment of carelessness, he quickly shouted, Master, please calm your raging anger. Please take good care of yourself, taking care of your body is most important. The soul beast was persuaded, gradually calming down and mumbled, Your words are correct, I need to take care of my body. I am going to kill all the inheritors and descendants of spectral soul, to take revenge for the hatred from back then. At the same time, Heavenly Court. Countless halls shone with dazzling white light. Suddenly, green aurora lights shone in the pure white sky. The aurora lights lasted for a moment before gradually dissipating. Heavenly Court's atmospheric changes are never a small matter, this seems to involve Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. Fairy Ziwei was in Heavenly Court, she quickly made deductions when she saw this unusual phenomenon. After a while, she opened her eyes which had a trace of joy, so it was Divine Bean Palace, which was put in Western Desert by Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. This Divine Bean Palace is a rank 8 Immortal Gu house and has outstanding might. It is about to appear in the world, we can't let it fall into Western Desert's hands. Fairy Ziwei slowly closed her eyelids and continued to deduce. After obtaining the results, she called a Gu Immortal of Central Continent. This rank 8 Gu Immortal was dressed in a green robe, emitting an aura of a scholar. From his appearance, he looked young, but his eyes were deep and wise, he was already some thousands of years old. Chen Yi, you are the first Supreme Elder of Heavenly Lotus Sect, Divine Bean Palace is making an appearance in Western Desert, follow my plan and go subdue it. Fairy Ziwei instructed. Okay. Chen Yi bowed slightly with no changes in his expression. Fairy Ziwei nodded, do this and you can resign from your position to enter Heavenly Court. Chen Yi was slightly moved, revealing a trace of joy. He once again bowed, and said in a clear voice, then, I shall thank Lady Ziwei. Several days later, Western Desert. Fang Yuan's soul left his body. He moved the soul and grasped a handful of sand. From phantom to solid, interfering with the material world, I have finally reached 100 million man soul. Fang Yuan was inwardly jubilant. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1509, Third Entry to Thieving Heaven's Dream Realm. Chapter 1509, Third Entry to Thieving Heaven's Dream Realm. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Fang Yuan sighed, he had finally reached 100 million man soul after several setbacks. Dang Hun Mountain and Luopa Valley are indeed the sacred lands of soul cultivation, and adding in the world's top soul cultivation techniques written in Spectral Soul True Inheritance, my soul foundation has soared rapidly. But I am only at 100 million man soul, I will need to continue to accumulate further, 200 million, 300 million, 400 million, until 900 million. After 900 million was not 1 billion, but was a breakthrough to Desolate Soul. After attaining Desolate Soul, Fang Yuan's soul would have the strength of a Desolate level soul beast. Although Fang Yuan's current strength could easily play around with Desolate beasts, being able to fight them with just his soul would be a qualitative transformation. After all, a human's soul was inherently weaker than other life forms. Being able to make up for this weakness afterwards and even surpass them, that showed the power of spectral soul's true inheritance. Fang Yuan did not return after getting 100 million man soul, but continued to stay to capture soul beasts. After knowing Old Ghost by June and Fang clan, Fang Yuan no longer intended to find an immemorial soul beast. He was not afraid of such an existence, but if it really came to a fight, not only would his soul beast army suffer huge losses, his main methods would also emerge. Once his trump card killer moves like Reverse Flow Protection Seal and Myriad Dragon were exposed, it would mean Fang Yuan's identity would also be revealed. There were many immemorial soul beasts in Green Ghost Desert. But under the lead of Spontaneous Auspicious Cloud, Fang Yuan did not encounter any of them. Of course, it is not only because of Spontaneous Auspicious Cloud, but also because my own luck is being maintained in a powerful state. So my recent endeavors have all been smooth sailing, somewhat like getting everything I want. Fang Yuan was aware of the reason. Fang Yuan continued to stay in Green Ghost Desert, he did not even have to make a move and could just make his soul beast army fight. If he encountered soul beasts, he would command his soul beast army to charge at them, he would take out the soul cores of the dead ones, while adding in the remaining captives to replenish any losses. Besides, Fang Yuan did not have to spend anything to control the soul beasts other than mental energy and immortal essence. And it also had an extremely high return. When Gu immortals did things, they would consider investment and returns. Fang Yuan was deeply aware of this, and would always take advantage of it. This method of hunting soul beasts could exert his abilities to the limit, he could optimize his gains. Like this, dozens of days passed, Fang Yuan's soul foundation had increased to 200 million. His soul was even more solid and lifelike, his four limbs became even tougher, much superior to the previous 100 million man soul. In this period, whether it be Fang clan, Old Ghost by June, or immemorial soul beasts, none appeared. Fang Yuan went through this period peacefully. Speaking of Old Ghost by June, Fang Yuan wanted to seize his rank 8 immortal Gu. But when he used his wisdom path methods to deduce, he found that it still was not the time for it, and there were even a lot of risks in trying to do so now. Furthermore, with Fang clan staying at the side, Fang Yuan did not make a move, even though he knew Old Ghost by June's location. 200 million man soul should be enough to explore the third stage of Thieving Heaven's dream realm, right? Fang Yuan was impatient to return. He stored the soul beast army in his sovereign immortal aperture, and concealed his tracks before quietly leaving Green Ghost Desert. After spending some time hurrying back, he arrived in front of Thieving Heaven's dream realm once again. Tang Fangming quickly came to welcome him. His gaze towards Fang Yuan was filled with respect. Over the period when Fang Yuan left, he had made great progress in exploring the dream realm because of Fang Yuan's guidance, gaining huge harvests. After greeting Tang Fangming, Fang Yuan followed the previous arrangements, he led out the Shadow Sect Immortals to control the Immortal Formation, before entering Thieving Heaven's dream realm. The surroundings suddenly changed. An oasis in the desert. Fang Yuan was once again an observer. It is this place, it is this place. Xia Zhao's voice was trembling from excitement. In the previous two stages, Thieving Heaven was banished by the clan, encountered Xia Zhao, refined rank 2 sneak attack Gu, became the champion of the small competition, and came to the clan's important area, which was the pool in the center of the oasis to choose Gu worms as the reward for winning the competition. Xia Zhao naturally had arranged investigative methods on young Thieving Heaven's body. Right now, he sensed an inexplicable aura from near the pool and knew he had found the place. However, young Thieving Heaven's heart sank, Xia Zhao getting his wish was not something he wanted to see. Quick, throw that sheepskin map into the pool. Xianxia commanded young thieving heaven with a clear impatience. Young thieving heaven was extremely doubtful. Didn't you take my sheepskin map? How would I have it? Xianxia laughed darkly. I have already made all the preparations. I have stitched that sheepskin map in your clothes. My good grandson, you only need to take off that piece of clothing and throw it to the pool. Young thieving heaven's heart sank further, as he thought inwardly, this Xianxia is a scheming demon. He definitely has a huge plot in throwing that mysterious sheepskin map to the pool. How can I do a thing like helping him commit a crime? Although the clan banished me before, they have after all shown me kindness by raising me for many years. I cannot repay this kindness with ill intent. Quick, grandson, throw that clothing into the pool. Xianxia shouted, don't forget that my method is still marked in your body. If you don't do it, I will make sure you die a painful death. Young thieving heaven's pupils immediately shrunk at the threat of death. He thought of his family and returning home, falling into deep hesitation. If he did not follow Xiaoxiao's words now, he probably was going to truly die. His wish of returning home and reuniting with his family would just become wild wishes. Do I give up my moral conduct to return home? No, I can't do this. Xiaoxiao might be incomparably strong, but I still have hope. I will fight to the end and will never lower my head to evil. I won't let down my Benjia son's name. Young thieving heaven's eyes shined brightly. Grandpa, this timing might not be suitable. I have yet to choose the Gu. The clan's Gu masters are observing me from the side. If I rashly throw my clothes into the pool, it will be intercepted by the guards before it can even land in the pool. This pool is our clan's most important water source after all. Young thieving heaven inwardly said to Xiaoxiao. Xiaoxiao was stunned for a moment, before slowly speaking, I was impatient grandson, you are right. But you must find an opportunity when others are unaware and finish this task. If you cannot accomplish it, you can go die. If you can complete it, grandpa will give you unimaginable benefits. Xiaoxiao threatened as well as enticed. Young thieving heaven quickly agreed but was not even a little moved inwardly. The clan's Gu masters led young thieving heaven to the underground cavern. You are the winner of the competition, go choose your Gu. Remember, you only have 15 minutes. Young thieving heaven thanked them and walked into the cavern. There were countless square holes in the walls. The square holes were of all sizes, most of them containing Gu worms. These rank 1 Gu worms were of all kinds and shapes, dazzling young thieving heaven. He inwardly exclaimed, although I heard there were countless Gu worms in the world, now that I am personally seeing the storage of the clan, I am truly sensing how magical this world is. There is a door there. Young thieving heaven pushed open the small door and entered another underground cavern. This small cavern size was only about 1/3 of the previous cavern. There were similar square holes carved in the walls, but the Gu worms in the holes were rank 2. Young thieving heaven sighed in his mind as he looked at the Gu worms. Oh. I have no one to guide me, I simply don't know what Gu worm is better and suits me. Also, that demon Xiaoxiao is plotting a huge scheme, what should I do? Ask for help from the clan? Young thieving heaven shook his head repeatedly in worry. Xiaoxiao had investigative methods which could sense matters around young thieving heaven. The moment young thieving heaven revealed the secret, he would immediately be killed by Xiaoxiao. Young thieving heaven's expression suddenly changed into that of surprise. Then, like the person had changed, he began to move around his arms and legs, adapting to the body. I am once again in control of young thieving heaven's body, but I have some leisure time now unlike the previous urgent situations. Fong Yuan was once again in charge of young thieving heaven's actions. So I have to resolve young thieving heaven's issue again. Fong Yuan mumbled. How to deal with Xiaoxiao? From my conjecture, this demon's cultivation is at least rank 4, rank 5 is also very likely. Fong Yuan scanned his surroundings, looking at the large numbers of Gu worms. It seems the breakthrough for this difficulty lies in the Gu worms here. Young thieving heaven did not recognize these Gu worms, but Fong Yuan had broad experience and vast knowledge. He knew almost all of these Gu worms, even if there were some which he did not recognize, he could roughly guess them through various checks. Also, even though Xiao has investigative methods, they clearly stopped working when young thieving heaven entered the underground cavern. Looks like Xiao's methods can't breach the defense of this underground cavern. This underground cavern was heavily protected. This was the clan's important area where goo worms were stored. If it could be easily inspected, it would definitely attract enemies, and the clan would suffer disastrous losses. Xiao does not know what I am doing now. So he wanted young thieving heaven to take the risk and finish his matter earlier. Also, even in the outside world, his investigative methods are probably relying on young thieving heaven's senses. As long as I can glean the mysteries of his method, I can deal with it. Fang Yuan analyzed in his mind. This third stage had just begun. He was given a test, but it was not actually too difficult. Even if he failed, he could try it again. At most, his soul would be injured. Were it before when his soul foundation only was 10 million man soul level, he might be worried this injury would be beyond the limit he could endure. But now that he had 200 million man soul, he was confident that no matter how much injury he suffered, his soul could not be directly destroyed. But if I follow the dream realm's route, it might be safe, but it would be just that. Instead, how about? Fang Yuan had a flash of inspiration. He wanted to test his plan and see how much change this dream realm of thieving heaven could support. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know in the report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1510, Fang Yuan gets captured. Chapter 1510, Fang Yuan gets captured. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Thieving Heaven's Dream Realm. The goo worm has been selected. Now, let me take a look. Fang Yuan took a deep breath and controlled young thieving heaven's body. He first activated Sneak Attack Gu. Immediately at the activation, a blue baby figure jumped out and pounced towards the front. In the blink of an eye, the blue baby phantom entered the cavern wall. The whole process was silent as if nothing had happened. Fang Yuan mentally sighed. This Sneak Attack Gu is indeed a top-tier Gu. Not only is its power outstanding among rank 2, it is silent as well. According to the Dream Realm, this cavern definitely has defensive methods arranged in it. But Sneak Attack Gu simply did not touch the defenses. I might as well refine some Sneak Attack Gu in the future. Fang Yuan had relied on the Dream Realm to create Sneak Attack Gu. In the outside world, Fang Yuan could create the Gu recipe for every mortal rank after some modifications. Fang Yuan could use the rank 2 Sneak Attack Gu recipe to deduce its rank 1 to rank 5 recipes. He could even use the Light of Wisdom to deduce rank 6 and rank 7 Sneak Attack Immortal Gu recipes. Because Fang Yuan's current theft path attainment level was already as high as Quasi-Great Grandmaster. After using the Sneak Attack Gu, Fang Yuan sped up the process, activating the Gu worms which he had chosen in the cavern. According to the rewards of the competition, the champion could select 3 rank 1 Gu, or 1 rank 2 Gu. Fang Yuan had checked all the rank 2 Gu in the small cavern. Although they were quite good, they were not suitable for his use. Fang Yuan then chose 3 rank 1 Gu from the large cavern, immediately refining them and combining them into a killer move. This killer move was activated, immediately forming a giant Rhino Strength Path Phantom. The Rhino Strength Path Phantom moved its limbs and directly charged towards the cavern wall. This part of the cavern walls had already been internally destroyed by Sneak Attack Gu's power. Now, as the Rhino Phantom smashed into it, it immediately collapsed loudly. Following, large amount of water surged out of the hole. Although Fang Yuan had been a bystander, he had already observed clearly and found this area of the underground cavern was right next to the oasis pool. This arrangement made sense. The pool had a spirit spring. The nearer the storage was to the pool, the denser the primeval energy that could seep into the mud and spread. And to this underground cavern where the clan stored Gu worms, it was greatly beneficial. There were some disadvantages, but the clan had already arranged defensive methods here, and those that could normally enter here were their own people. Even young thieving heaven was only trusted by the clan because he had lived and grown in the clan for over 10 years. But right now, under Fang Yuan's control, young thieving heaven acted opposite and went mad, directly opening a hole in the wall to finish Sha Zhao's task. Water surged in large amounts, a layer of light membrane suddenly shone on the wall, blocking most of the water. What happened? Move quickly, something happened. Shocked voices came from outside the cavern, the guards immediately rushed in after sensing something wrong. What use is it in discovering now? Fang Yuan sneered, activating sneak attack Gu along with other 2 Gu to form a killer move. The rank 2 killer move covered him with a layer of blue light, increasing his speed sharply. Fang Yuan moved quickly towards that membrane of light blocking the water, directly passing through it and entering the pool. This membrane of light had also been in Fang Yuan's consideration. The clan's defensive methods were only mortal level in the end, and to a Gu immortal like Fang Yuan, they were filled with flaws. As for the incoming fierce current, even though it had huge force, Fang Yuan's killer move easily opened a way through it. By the time the 2 guards entered, they only saw Fang Yuan's receding figure entering the pool. This is a traitor. One guard shouted furiously with bloodshot eyes, the clan nurtured and raised you, how could you dare to do this? Was your conscience eaten by the dogs? Die! He immediately attacked. But the other guard quickly stopped him, are you crazy? What would we do if your move kills the Gu worms in the cavern? The important thing is to repair the defense as quickly as possible to reduce the losses. The smaller the losses, the lighter our punishment would be. That guard did not want to continue listening to the advice, he shook off his companion's arm. You repair the defenses, I will capture this thief. He threw behind these words, before passing through the light membrane to chase Fang Yuan. An enemy? Fang Yuan's heart tensed. He was extremely vigilant, immediately sensing the guard entering the water. But even if he sensed the guard, it was of no use. Young thieving heaven was only rank 1 with a poor aptitude, having limited primeval essence that was almost finished after Fang Yuan repeatedly activated Gu worms. Thus, even though Fang Yuan was a Gu immortal, he had nothing to work with against the rank 3 guard. Thief, how dare you do this? Did you do this because you hated the clan for banishing you, or were you ordered by someone? The chasing guard could speak even in water. Fang Yuan held his breath and used all his strength to fight. But in just 2-3 moves, he was captured by the guard. The guard was full of hatred towards Fang Yuan, and seeing him still daring to retaliate, he immediately struck Fang Yuan's chest with his palm. Fang Yuan's 7 orifices started bleeding, the blood spreading in the pool. How could your filthy blood pollute my clan's spirit spring? The rank 3 guard revealed hatred as he activated a Gu worm to collect all the blood. Damn it, I just had to run into a water path rank 3 Gu master. Fang Yuan revealed a bitter smile. After being captured, he could not even budge and had to take the palm strike head-on, his soul suffering an unprecedented level of damage. Fang Yuan endured the pain. After his soul stopped shaking, he carefully inspected it and was astonished. So powerful. This one strike cut down my soul foundation by 50 million. He thought rapidly, guessing, there are few water path Gu masters in Western Desert, was this person specially sent by the Dream Realm to target me? 50 million man's soul was immediately cut away. If it were anyone else, this one strike might have killed them. Even if it were me previously, with 90 million man soul foundation, over half of my soul would have been destroyed instantly in this situation. And this 3rd stage has just started, the later events definitely look like they will be more problematic. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan could not help but rejoice that he had stably accumulated until 200 million man soul before entering thieving heaven's dream realm. He then continued to speculate, if I had not rashly charged in and followed the dream realm development, there probably would not have been this kind of attack. But, by doing this, I likely spared myself of many steps in between. This dream realm change is worth studying. Fang Yuan explored the dream realm not only for theft path attainment, but also to accumulate experience and make exploring other dream realms more convenient. Although the action this time was slightly risky, Fang Yuan had gained a lot. He might be captured, but a flash of inspiration appeared in his mind, giving him new thoughts. Wait a moment. This 50 million man soul foundation was not random. Other than soul path Gu immortals, most other Gu immortals don't even have such level of soul foundation. If other paths Gu immortals were to explore this dream realm of thieving heaven, what would happen? Fang Yuan thought of Tang Fangming. More accurately, he thought of the steel dream killer move that Tang Fangming created in his first life. In my first life, as dream realms continued to be explored, endless numbers of dream path Gu worms as well as dream path killer moves were created to provide targeted help against different dream realms. Thieving Heaven's dream realm has a huge demand on soul foundation, which absolutely could not be explored before the chaotic era. If an ordinary person were to explore it, they would need to have enough dream path accumulation. The best case would be to create a killer move related to dream and soul which can neutralize the corrosion of the soul in dream realm, or greatly reduce the corrosion. This dream realm of thieving heaven came from a Gu immortal venerable and was so huge, the difficulty of exploring it was extremely high. During the early and middle periods of the 5 regions' chaotic war, it was simply a graveyard for Gu immortals. Fang Yuan was able to explore it by forcibly facing it with his soul foundation. The most terrifying thing about this dream realm was the intense corrosion of the soul, but Fang Yuan directly crossed this hurdle with his robust soul foundation. The spirit spring started burbling in the pool like it was boiling. What's going on? The rank 3 guard was moving to the surface while holding Fang Yuan in one hand, when he saw this situation. Sure enough, my action greatly reduced the steps. I have already reached the most crucial juncture of the 3rd stage. Fang Yuan, however, was jubilant, his gaze shined brightly as he looked at the changes in the pool. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.